My mother passed away in 1997. And so there was this kind of emotional void in my life, I think, that was looking to be filled by something, be it sport or anything else. And the crew came to town at the right time for me, because I was kind of looking for a place to pour my emotional energy, my focus. And I don't know if people remember this, but the excitement around the crew in 96, 97 in the city was immense. It felt impossible. It was like something that for me as like a 13-year-old, it was impossible to not want to be a part of. And as a young black kid coming into soccer on the east side of Columbus, it was a great era, that kind of 97 to early 2000s window where you had Jeff Cunningham, Ed Buttle, and Dante Washington. I loved watching attacking players because it taught me how to defend better. And to see you up close, to see your balance and the way you always seem to be in the right spot, and how selfless you were, I think, as an attacking player, was really refreshing and exciting for me. And it made me feel like I could play. Like, very literally, the kids in my neighborhood, all young black kids, learned to play soccer. It made us all feel like we could play.
That's awesome. You always realize that you're kind of carrying something as a professional athlete, that you have younger players looking up towards you, but then as a black player, there's that added depth that honestly I didn't realize. And only now, many, many years removed from playing, do I have these conversations with Hanif. I just had other conversations a couple months ago, actually during All-Star, where other players like Josie Altidore said, yeah, I grew up watching you, and Eddie Johnson said, I grew up watching you. So it isn't until later really that I recognized the impact that I've had on people who played at varying levels, and it's really humbling to see.
There are players who grew up watching you who became the players that they are, and there are young players watching them who will continue that lineage on, and it will expand. We'll see more, specifically, we'll see more black players, I think, because of how, because of the kind of foundation that was set, particularly here in this city, early on. It is a lineage, and I think it's an honor to be a part of that lineage, even as a fan, even as someone who just played in high school and a little bit of college. It's an honor to be a part of that lineage, and I've grown up watching this team and to feel connected to it because I can look on the pitch and see you and see Edson and see Jeff Cunningham. And now I get to feel that way too, looking on the pitch and seeing someone like Darlington, looking on the pitch and seeing someone on the sideline like Coach Nazi, looking in the front office. I mean, it's everywhere, you know? And so it's a real lineage, something I think we need to be proud of.
I think it's just kind of the natural evolution of the game, natural evolution of the city. Again, as a former player who's been through, unfortunately didn't get to play on this field, but played in historic Crew Stadium, it's just great to see that the lineage, the line is still continuing to go on and on, and the greatness of the players now is just even more elevated than what we had before.
I'm glad you said the word lineage, because it is a question of lineage. It signals to young folks who were like me, coming up in an area where they could not play club soccer. They didn't have the money to play club soccer. They were just kind of kicking the ball against the wall. They need someone to emulate. They need someone to watch and say, I want to score a goal like that, or I want to defend like that, or I want to cover box to box like that. There's a lineage that I think has more to do with what one allows someone else to see themselves as. And I think you played a part in that, and so many of the players on the pitch now play a part in that, and we see it everywhere in the city.
It's interesting you touched on that point about being able to afford to play. I don't talk about it a lot, but I was born in the inner city of Baltimore. In the area where I was born and where I grew up, there is no soccer.
Right.
So had I not moved to the suburbs, I wouldn't be standing here today. I wouldn't have done a lot of the things that I did in my life. And I was fortunate, because again, there are no opportunities for players, for people in that area. Hopefully there will be now, but back then there definitely wasn't. So to be able to be a part and represent, like you said, someone who was able to have that opportunity. But I do recognize that I was fortunate, and there are so many other players who aren't as fortunate, but hopefully that can change in the future.
That can change. I hope it changes.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you.